Hey, welcome to All Things Social Security, the daily video share of the day-to-day goings-on in the Social Security world that we're all in at the moment. My name is Stephanie Joy. I am the attorney and the founder of Joy Disability. It is a Social Security disability and SSI only law practice for the last 2 decades. Your video is about to start. I just wanted to remind you to click the join button below and consider becoming a benefactor member. It provides a lot of free one-on-one interaction with me on any questions you have. And for broader topics or of greater magnitude, you can have significantly discounted consultation time. Okay, I'll see you there. Enjoy your video. Bye-bye. Hey. There was a question about TANF, TANF, some of us call it. And that is the monies provided to low-income individuals, not necessarily disabled. In fact, there's generally a requirement that you try to work, but it varies from state to state. But it's definitely for low income, it does not require disability. And in fact, sometimes the work willingness would actually contradict if you were disabled. So, but the question was, what happens with SSI? And I think we touched on it inadvertently in a way, maybe in a comment. So I just wanted to provide you what the SSA says. The federal law does not prohibit a person that gets TANF from applying for and receiving SSI. However, apparently many of the states that provide TANF will not provide it to someone who has SSI. And I'm thinking that could be one of two reasons. Maybe it's because someone who is on SSI has been proven to be unable to work to substantially support themselves. It could also be that the money that they're getting from SSI puts them over the income limit for TANF in that state. So, but the states, as I understand it, even though the federal government contributes to TANF for the various states, and the states often contribute themselves as well, the states have much discretion on, who they're going to send it to. Okay. Now, as I said, SSA does not have any bar. Like, to get SSI, you don't have to prove you're not getting TANF. However, that is not the same thing as saying the monies won't count. So there's going to be that dollar for dollar offset from what I gather, and I will post this page from the SSA.gov site for you, so that, if you're getting cash benefits from TANF, you're going to see it affect your SSI. So, and I don't even know what the amounts are for TANF. You can tell me. And by the way, TANF stands for Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. So, and again, the states vary on what they require. It is often a family benefit when there's children involved. But if there is SSI, the TANF numbers are going to affect your SSI numbers, and there will be an offset. So just keep that in mind. If you're getting 300 from TANF, you're just going to get less from SSI. If you're getting, and I have no idea how high these things will go, but if you're getting far more than that from TANF, you might then be ineligible for SSI because you're getting all this money from TANF. Okay, that's all I wanted to share, because I wasn't sure if we got that much in the weeds with it. I do remember saying that SSA doesn't prohibit someone that's receiving TANF, but I don't know if we got into the fact that there's an offset that SSI would consider those funds. And that's understandable. They're both needs-based programs. So if you're getting it from one, you don't need it from the other. Assuming that their federal benefit rate is appropriate, and someone perhaps argue against that. But all right, have a great one, guys. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Hey, let's talk a little bit about ISM, in-kind support and maintenance. I know it's really confusing. It concerns SSI individuals, not SSD, or and not Social Security retirement individuals either. So it's SSI, that's a big chunk of people. So let's go over it a little bit. As you know, SSI is a needs-based program, right? So The full amount for 2024 is $943 from the federal government. Whenever we have other money coming into us, or ostensibly available to us, we get generally some of our SSI benefit reduced accordingly, because the SSI is only supposed to be based on a need, and it's a numerical formula. It's not based on your perceived need for something or someone else's perceived need that's different. Therefore, they should get more than you because they feel they need that more than you, or whatever. It doesn't work like that. Obviously, that would not work. That would not function in a program that deals with millions of people, right? So it's a set amount, 943. And so if you are, gifted $300 a month, that 943 is going to be reduced accordingly. It would be reduced by, on the outset, 300, the 300 you get. However, there happens to be a $20 exclusion for the first $20 you receive that's unearned by you. So technically it would be 280, but let's not quibble over that because it'll start maybe getting you a little confused. So generally, for every unearned piece of cash that comes your way, you will, or earned is another story, but we're not going to get into that right this second. You will be having your SSI for that particular month that you received that other income in the form of a gift reduced accordingly. Cash, is the obvious way income is received. However, income can be in a variety of other ways. And there's something called ISM, in-kind support and maintenance. In-kind means it's a thing and not the cash, basically. And it is unearned income. This is how they describe it. Unearned income in the form of food or shelter or both will be considered ISM and relevant to your SSI amount. There are other ways, by the way, to have income of sorts come in that does not count as ISM and is not cash, and therefore will not reduce your SSI as a matter of law. That's a whole nother thing to go into. But for our purposes here, cash or ISM, in-kind support and maintenance, meaning food, shelter, or both, if given to you, will reduce your SSI. Okay. So when we talk about food and shelter, you got to know that, for instance, shelter constitutes not just the roof over your head and the value of that. It also includes the basic utilities such as heat, water, electric, garbage disposal. If there's sewer, that would be in there as well. So when they talk about shelter and being gifted a piece of shelter, let's say someone's not giving you your shelter, but they're paying your electric bill. That's not going to work. That will be counted. So just know that shelter is a broad umbrella over all the things relevant to a basic, modest roof over one's head. So historically, with shelter, and it gets a little complicated, but if you're not paying what they legally decide is your fair share of your shelter, then you are generally getting ISM, and they can deduct from your SSI benefits owed that month. So, I have other videos, I think, where we touched on the fact that there are other ways to help SSI folks. Family members can help them without paying the roof over their head or giving them cash. They have other bills, so maybe cover one of those that isn't going to, impact their SSI benefit. Okay, so they go on to say here that they use two rules to determine the value of the ISM that you are receiving, if you're receiving any. One, the value of the 1/3 reduction rule, and also the presumed maximum value rule. So I'm not going to get too heavy into the weeds with them, but if you generally, when you are not paying your fair share, they're going to reduce by a third, or they are going to reduce by the presumed maximum value rule, one way or another, unless you can show that you are paying your fair share. And again, this, the way you're going to have impact on your shelter is if you're living in another household and not paying your fair share, or you are living on your own, but someone is paying your shelter for you. So those are two things that you can really, really do a lot of things to avoid. There are ways to manage that and to negotiate those things so that's not happening. All completely, appropriate ways to do that. But in-kind support, food and shelter, or both. And also cash is out the door. But the ISM is the food, shelter, or both. So you got to really follow those rules. Okay. Really, really big. It really, I talk to people a lot of the time about, stop taking as a gift your shelter. Start, get under a rental agreement with whoever it is and start paying rent, owing rent. So even if you can't pay the full amount, you got a pending disability claim, you don't have the income right now. God, I really think I have a cold. You will be doing yourself in the end probably a favor if you just go into a rental arrangement. This is particularly true if you're living with family, I would say. Where nobody really thinks about it, but it'll be really important in order for you to collect your benefits without interruption or reduction. Okay. And that'll leave more for you to reasonably sustain yourself. All right, ISM guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.